Hey everyone, I'm back. I'm gonna try to get back on this. But the video I'm gonna do tonight, I really want to go here. It's not in Louisiana. And for all of you horror movie fans, you might recognize this right away. But we've seen the movies and we've heard the stories. But what made the Parent family move out of a seemingly normal farmhouse when it really wasn't normal at all? They actually felt like they weren't alone. And they weren't. The Conjuring house, although from the outside seems like any other peaceful farmhouse in Rhode Island suburbs, once inside the home, history begins to unravel before your eyes. The friendly facade fades and the realization that is the home from the TV Conjuring franchise. But don't be mistaken. The story isn't just a tale told by Hollywood. There's an actual truth to it. And I've said in many movies before, and videos before, that when I mentioned the Conjuring house, the Conjuring movies and Annabelle are all based on true events. The Nun, I'm not so sure of, but they're all real. And honestly, the doll from the movies is creepier than the doll in real life. Because the doll in real life is a Raggedy Ann doll, but the doll from the movie is a child-sized porcelain doll. If you haven't seen it, and I'm like, no. And when I first watched it, like a few years ago, I think it was right after the first one was made when I watched it. My friend made me for one, and she goes, "Oh, it's right up your alley," and I go, "It's a haunted doll," and she goes, "Yeah, man, it's all about the paranormal," and I'm like, okay, and we kept making fun of her, which made me laugh, like, oh, she just moved again, she's in the bed. I mean, it's not as horrifying as the life-sized Chucky doll I have in my room, which I might show later if you guys want to. But back to the video. An authentic colonial extra estate, the Conjuring house, as it's also adorably called, the innocent visitors with the mysterious and horrifying history. Built in 1736, it allows those to dare set foot on the property to visit a bygone era, while also coming face to face with horrors that plagued the families who lived in there. Deep in the quiet countryside of Harrisville, Rhode Island, stands a house with a history so chilling it inspired one of the scariest horror movies of all time. The eerie farmhouse, the real Conjuring house, was once home to the Perrin family, who experienced years of relentless hauntings. Strange noises, shadow figures, and sinister occurrences tormented them, but the most feared presence of all was Bathsheba. An angry spirit famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren stepped in to uncover the dark forces at play. But what they really found deepened the mystery and its horror. Is the house still haunted today? Yes, it is. The land where the Conjuring house stands was first dated in 1680 and surveyed by John Smith, one of Virginia's earlier colonists. I went to school, I swear. It later became a part of Rhode Island colony founded by Roger Williams, a man who believed in religious freedom and the separation of church and state. Before it was the Conjuring house, it was called the Arnold estate. even earlier, the land belonged to the Richardson family. Followers of Roger Williams. They settled here after he was banished from Massachusetts Bay Colony for channeling the government and demanding more rights for the people. While the original estate was relatively large, the best way to preserve the land was the native pardon rules to those who choose to follow him and his techniques. And his teachings, not techniques. A sort of reward for their support. With more than 1,000 acres to split up, he got to work and sold particles to families in an area, some of which still have great grandchildren living in the estate, living in the area. Because women did not have rights to their own property at the time, their estate was transferred to the marriage of the first colonists, the Richardson family, and later landed the Arnold family hands. House stands today just as it did in 1736. It was weathered coastal storm, witnessed the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and survived devastating hurricane of 1938 that destroyed many nearby homes. It showed in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and the rise of the industry in America. A true piece of history that remains preserved as a window into the past. As the official Conjuring website says, 8 generations of one extended family had lived and died in it, and apparently some of them never left. Or visit with some frequencies, because of the historical chronicles of the time were dispersed, or what was recorded was not salvaged. And it's possible to know the fullest extent of his past, but one thing is known: the house speaks to those who know how to listen. History has a story to tell. We will never know all of it, some in which has been lost an annual of times. But one thing is certain: there are a few places like it which remain intact on the planet, and it should be protected and defended at all costs. My dog is snoring, and it literally sounds like she's eating. Before the Conjuring house was purchased by its current owners in 2019, it was owned by the most well-known family regarding its home's history, the Perrons. The home's past spans over 8 generations, in which during residents reportedly died by drowning, murder, and hanging. Most of those stories heard in the horror franchise are based on the accounts of the Perron family. Carolyn and Roger Perron lived in the home with their 5 daughters during the 1970s. Almost immediately, small but strange events started to happen, and it wasn't long before the events escalated tremendously. One of the first reports came from Carolyn herself. He stated that she noticed the broom disappearing as if one of her children was hiding it, but they promised and pleaded with her that it wasn't them. He also began to notice small piles of dirt in a freshly swept kitchen. The parent kids also began to report seeing apparitions around this time. Harmless at first. Then they started to see shadows in the corner, heard footsteps, and watched their bedroom doors open on their own. The family's experience began to shift to something more sinister. The report named their beds would shake at 5:15 every morning, and Roger Perrin reported a cold and shaking presence behind him at any time he entered the basement. Other members from the Perrin family who also reported smells of rotting flesh. And who knows who don't know, if something paranormal is starting to smell like rotting flesh, it's either evil, which I don't know if there's a difference, or demonic. And again, I'm not really sure if that's a difference to anything. And I've seen the movies, and yes, the movies were based on true events, like I said in the beginning, and their beds did shake, and it was terrifying. And I watched it in the complete darkness, and sometimes I feel like I'm dumb. I mean, I did that with Annabelle too, and Chucky, so why not, right? Throughout the home, one spirit in the home was portrayed by the movies. Apparently, she's such an angry. He was just angry as in real life, as shown on the big screen. Excuse me. Eldest parent daughter, Andrea. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And Andrea, if you're watching, I'm sorry. Then about Bathsheba. Whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself to be the mistress of the house. And she resented the competition my mother posed for that position. Bathsheba is said to be responsible for throwing objects, slamming doors, and shattering glass. One night, Carolyn was sitting in the living room when she felt a sharp pain in her leg. She looked down and found blood trickling from her small wound, almost as if someone had stabbed her with a large needle. It turns out a woman named Bathsheba didn't reside on the property in the mid-1800s. Her name was Bathsheba Thurman, and her neighbor believed they had dabbled in witchcraft. There was even some evidence of her own involvement in the death of an infant. Bathsheba is even buried nearby the home after the parents' family experienced increased in severity and became malevolent. They call upon the most trusted names in the field, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine investigated well over 10,000 cases of hauntings, and the parent home was just another feather in their cap. One of the ways Ed and Lorraine were sent to make the contact with the dead was through seances. They performed one at the parent home, where Carolyn parents seemed to be possessed, speaking in tongues and rising into the air, gravity with her share. Andrea parents saw the whole scene and described the feeling of being faint while listening to her mother speak in a language that was not of this world, in a voice that was not her own. After the seance, Carolyn seemed to return to normal, and Roger requested that the Warrens leave the property. When they moved the home until 1980, the family stayed in the home till 1980. When they could afford to leave. When they moved, the experience ceased. Carolyn Perrin describes the home as it's magical. It is a portal clearly disguised as a farmhouse. It is simple. Its multiple dimensions interacting stimulously. These days, the home is in new hands and operated with the idea of history and home should be accessible to anyone. Tours from the house and property are offered, and to So the story of the Conjuring house is sure to live up to at least another few generations. And I've watched many YouTubers go there, especially Sam and Colby, and they literally had to sign a waiver saying if you have an attachment, demonic possessions, or anything like that, the Conjuring house was not responsible. So if I ever go there, I will film myself signing that waiver. And they did it with their friend Amanda and Face Run, and I'm like, take me with you. While the pair lived in the home, the children regularly saw apparitions and spirits in the house. There was frequent poltergeist activity, beds would levitate and shake, and the parent family would regularly experience physical injuries due to the particularly angry spirit. And this was proven in the movie. Every morning, Carolyn Perrin would wake up with bruises and scratches and cuts all over her body, mainly her arms and her legs. And there was one hard, black as black can be, bruise on her shoulder. And I was like, damn, Bathsheba. The Erie farmhouse, the real Conjuring house, experienced years of relentless hauntings, strange noises, shadow figures, sinister occurrences, tormenting them. But the most, like I said, the most feared was Bathsheba. And she said, before Bathsheba died, it is said to have cursed the land. The Conjuring house. Childhood dream to go there. Well, not childhood, more like teenage dream to go there because I was not old enough to watch it when the first Conjuring movie came out, I don't think. Whenever that was. And maybe I was in high school at the time, so I should have been old enough to watch it if I knew about it back then. I want to go there so freaking bad, it's unreal. I love everything about the Conjuring house, Annabelle, the Nun, even though the Nun didn't take place in Rhode Island, nor did Annabelle. But, or in the Conjuring 2, I think they took place in England. And Conjuring 3 took place back in America. Please tell me if I'm right or wrong. But, with all of that being said, I still want to go. And it hurts to think how many people have already been there. They're lucky. And the thing about Bathsheba, yes, she was a real person, but there's only one picture that shows her. And they said that she really wasn't evil, it's just the movie made her evil. And people had destroyed her grave because of the movie. Now, if Bathsheba really wasn't the angry spirit that was tormenting the Perrin family, and if any of the Perrin family are watching this, please let me know. Who was it? Sam and Colby found out that it couldn't be the crooked neck lady, which is one of the spirits in the home who hung herself during something traumatic that I can't really remember at the moment. And even back then, it was a one-room schoolhouse or a school or something, and kids even saw the crooked neck lady. And if you been to the Conjuring house or seen videos, you can clearly still see hidden drawings of the crooked neck lady in the basement. And there's a well in the basement where apparently she lives. And they cover it so she won't come out. So is it Bathsheba? Or is it the crooked neck lady? I don't know. I don't even know how to say that one time. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Because I know what they say about Bethsema, and I know the movie made her evil, but is she really? And who's the quirky neck lady? Please, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching my channel and videos. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I am Haunted Girl, and I'll spook you later. The paranormal is my playground. And until next time, pleasant dreams.